Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our Hall of Fame edition, our 40th edition, guys, of Talking Football with Bengal Jim and Friends. Very special guest tonight from the NFL's Pro Football Hall of Fame, David Baker, with us tonight. Again, Hall of Fame edition. It's got to be something special, guys. So I'm going with what's called Glen Ruthers, which is a whiskey cut. Listen to this, James and Jamie. Creamy vanilla, orange peel, and nutmeg whiskey from Scotland.
Impressive.
It's actually pretty good, man. It sounds like
I got the official bourbon of Craig Johnson, the Sazerac Rye going here. So cheers to our buddy Craig. And I think we need to warn the people that watch the show, if you hear weird cat noises, don't call PETA on Jamie, because they're all coming from Jamie's weird cat. That just sounds like I don't even know what it sounds like.
You know what? This cat, I swear to God, waits till 8 o'clock just didn't say a freaking word all day. 8 o'clock on Friday night.
Too funny. So Jamie, the backdrop there. What is that in the backdrop there? What's going on there?
So that's Bernie Sanders setting up Paul Brown Stadium. Figured we'd jump on the meme craze here.
Looks like he got there a couple hours early, right before kickoff.
Or during the COVID shutdown, maybe.
That's right.
Oh, gosh.
Some great Bernie memes this past week. Freaking hilarious.
Sure.
So, guys, let's go through some updates. So Troy Richards, I want to give everybody an update on Troy. Everybody's been keeping up with him, what's going on there. But just to let you know, Troy every day, even from last week, is getting better. So an update on Troy, basically, they passed what's called a swallow test. Basically, he's off the ventilator. Everything's going in the right direction. They're letting him eat some kind of pureed food, I guess, but he's actually eating some food now. They had him stand up a couple times. So he's moving in the right direction. I know there was a lot of folks that did some videos and are clipping some videos together to send to him, kind of wishing him well. So, Troy, just to let you know, buddy, we're thinking about you still. We know you're not out of the woods, but you're on the minds of every single Bengal fan and Bengal Nation, brother. Get better. Keep working, bud.
And the home stretch, hopefully getting out of that hospital soon. So we're with you, Troy.
Yeah. Let's get right into the question of the week, guys. I know we got a very special guest tonight, but you know what? We're in a stretch run here, man. Super Bowl week coming up here very soon. So next week we'll talk about our Super Bowl edition here. But so question of the week, everybody. Great AFC and NFC championship games, but who's going to win the Super Bowl and why in the hell you want them to win, guys? So type your responses in the chat area, guys, and let's get some conversation going about your pick for the Super Bowl. Jamie, where are you going first?
So you posted this the other day on the Bengal Gym page. There's no debate. Tom Brady is the GOAT. 10 Super Bowl appearances. There's no debate now. So, but I'm cheering for Mahomes. I'm cheering for the Chiefs. I'm cheering for Mahomes. To me, more exciting to watch. KC is the more complete team on both sides of the ball. I think the torch gets passed to Mahomes.
James, what do you think, bud?
You know, I was going to cheer for Tampa Bay because I was like, oh, well, let's let a new team win the Super Bowl. And I forgot all about they won the Super Bowl in 2003. Was that Trent Dilfer? Trent Dilfer led that team. So I forgot about that. I don't have the Tom Brady hate. I think you posted, what is it? There's been 55 Super Bowls. Tom Brady's been in 10 of them. 18%. That's
crazy.
I mean, yeah, that's just a crazy stat. I don't know. I'm just going to drink a lot, eat a lot of food.
You know what? Jason Dick is down there is saying that Brad Johnson was the Super Bowl with the Bucks. He's probably right. Dilford won a Super Bowl with somebody.
Was it the Ravens? Maybe.
It was the Ravens, maybe. Yeah, good call. Good catch, Jason. Appreciate that.
Bengal Jim does not know Tampa Bay Buccaneers football.
But you know what? I'm rooting for the Buccaneers. I got too many friends and folks down in Tampa. I'm rooting for the Bucks. I love the Tampa Bay area. I usually don't really root against the AFC if the Bengals aren't in. I kind of root for the AFC team. I'm going off the grid here. I'm not a Tom Brady fan, but man, you have to admit, man, it's probably the most impressive thing I've ever seen. 10 Super Bowls, guys, and just this whole Belichick and Brady conversation and who needed who, and those two guys are. Belichick's not going to be watching the Super Bowl. I can tell you that right now. He's not. He's pretty salty about Tom being there.
He'll
All right,
watch it.
so-
He'll watch it. But the one thing I also want to add before we get too deep is welcome
Yeah.
our friends from Who Day Nation. Great Facebook page for lots of chatter, especially in the off season. They got topics, a lot of draft talk going on there. So if you haven't checked them out, check them out on Facebook.
There's some funny comments in the chat area, guys.
Yeah, I'm gonna go through them here, guys. So here we go. Jason says, "Go Chiefs." Brady has enough rings.
I don't disagree, Jace.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers because I'm married to a Floridian.
I see a strawberry.
Kansas City 24-17. Brady, since he's not in the AFC anymore.
Hold on one more second. Go back to Steve and Jeff.
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
want to. They're another one that had some surgery. One back, one more, Jamie, to our to the Twins. Hopefully, they're on the mend. I believe it was Chef Jeff. Hopefully, his foot's doing better. A couple extra procedures on that. So we're thinking about you guys, and hopefully, you're on the road to recovery as well. Okay, Jamie, continue.
All right, and Bucks, baby, Bucks. Paul, Tampa, because the league's fixed. And that's going to help Tom Brady.
See, and I'm normally like the negative one. Paul's like A1 with me, and
he's not negative. He's real. He's real. That's my boy. Paul's a good dude.
Fix. All right, Buccaneers wanted the Bills. We're going to go with Brady. Man, the Bills' defense was Swiss cheese against the Chiefs. Tampa, because I live 30 minutes from Tampa, it's going to be a party.
Yes.
I live in Central Florida. Go Bucks. Another guy who's on the men's as well. Hopefully, you're feeling better. What do we got here? Anthony Brooks, Bucks. It's the final mail to New England. Jamie, love your new background. Thank you.
Put up Lisa if you can find her. She's hilarious.
David Zimmerman, Tampa Bay. Great to see a different team. Tom Brady, because his success bugs the Steelers fans.
Well, you know what? Talking about the Steelers, what do you got? Antonio Brown with the Bucks and Lev Bell with Kansas City. So two former Steelers facing each other in the Super Bowl.
You guys missed the other big Steeler news. Martavius Bryant signed with the Toronto Argonauts of the CFL, the league that's probably to fold before it comes back. Brooks, Bucks, final mail to New England.
With the correct spelling of new.
Yes, I got that. Let's see.
We knew what you meant, Tony.
I think that's good. I think that's it.
So, majority, I'd say, leaning Bucks here.
Mike's asking me to send the background to him. So, Mike, I will send the background to you after the show, buddy.
Okay. Good stuff. Yeah, man. I just, I guess I was kind of pulling for the Bills in that game, believe it or not. Not that I'm a Bills lover, like a lot of people seem to be, but Kansas City's really freaking good, guys. They're legit.
I think there's a thing between us and the Bills fans ever since we got them into the playoffs after so long. So I think
it's getting a little too lovey-dovey for me. I'm
not sure there's enough folding tables in the state of Buffalo or in the state of New York if Buffalo were to go to the Super Bowl. Gosh. And you talk about memes. You've seen the Bernie meme, but again, there's another Bills Mafia meme. Somebody going off a top of the bus. Of a bus. We don't recommend this, children watching at home, but just totally missed the table. God, that just looks painful to watch.
It's got to be a lot of. I'm not drinking. It's about too much alcohol and that stuff. I'm just saying. Don't put me on top of the bus, James, when I get too many beasts going. But hey, let's switch gears, guys. It's going to be, again, we wanted to talk about the Super Bowl because next week we've got a solid hour with our Super Bowl special, which we'll get to in a minute. But if everybody remembers last Tuesday, I kind of hinted and let everybody know that new uniforms were in the discussion. And sure enough, I think it was Thursday or Wednesday or Thursday, they got that announcement, that cryptic Bengal social media post with the rolling eyes. It's official, guys. We've got new uniforms coming.
Do we know what they're going to look like? It's like everything we've been seeing is just different renditions of people sharing things, right? Mock-ups. Okay. So we don't know, other than the helmet staying the same. Didn't they commit to that?
Helmet's staying the same, and they came out today as well and said that there's no logo change, the B stain on the jersey. So it's
not necessarily the B stain on the jersey. The logo is going to be on the field. So I'm not worried about the B logo. I mean, the uniform is going to be interesting. There is a change next year in the NFL where they're changing the helmet rule, which would be real nice. One of our social media posts got picked up by a national outlet, and about the 3 different Bengal helmets: the white helmet with the color rush, the 70s logo with a throwback jersey, and then the striped helmet can go with any 80s, 90s, or current Bengal jersey. So I'm excited about maybe the throwbacks that potentially could be coming out here very soon as well. But
along those lines, we talk about obviously what a financial hit was to small businesses, but to the NFL not having fans, I think allowing these other jersey combinations, the other helmets, is just good revenue, because think of all the merch that they're going to sell, bringing that stuff back. So, hey, all for it, and make sure we keep the juggernaut known as the NFL rolling.
Yeah. And Bengals Pro Shop, 40% off those jerseys, guys. So best time to pick up a nice jersey, 40% off right now.
Oh,
so
nice.
They're considered old school jerseys now at this point. So I don't think they're going to announce and show the new jerseys until spring. That's the official. Don't have the exact date, but it is spring that was said that they will be rolling those new jerseys out. So good stuff. Good stuff.
Cool.
So let's keep it rolling here, guys. Again, we're going to start the Dave Baker interview around 8:25, 8:30. Kind of stay tuned for that. Let's talk about Saturday. I just happened to go down. I picked up a bunch of folks' cutouts from out of town, and we wound up having I said, hey, if you're just out and about picking up your cutout, come on down to the Yard House. And we wound up having about, 12 to 15 people come down. Right there, you see a couple who, if you don't know them, you better get to know these two. Absolutely the best people in the world. Mark and Lisa moved here to Cincinnati for the Cincinnati Bengals. It started out at the Yard House, and we hit like 6. We went to the Yard House, to the Holy Grail, across to the Red Stadium, to Blind Pig, O'Malley's, went up to Shire at the Gardens, and got a great pictures from up there. There's our boy Bengal Genius, all the way from Michigan, drove 4.5 hours to get his cutout and hung with us, and went to a few places. But then we finished, and we went to Arnold's, and we went to we wound up finishing at Knockback Nats that night.
And
It was
Tony,
it was day drinking. It was day
Tony,
drinking.
and we found Tony the Tiger. I think somebody was holding him ransom, but he's back.
Yep, Tony was found. Anthony was kind of a loner that day, but Tony, you can see, is all over the place. We went over and seen Pete. Go back one more. I'm going to tell you, if you ever meet Lisa or Carrie, ask them about their favorite baseball player and why. It's that boy Pete. I'm not going to put a picture on there, but if you ever see him or ever meet him, make sure you ask them about Pete Rose. That's all I got to say. So Tony was all over the place, man. He wanted pictures everywhere we went. And so believe me, I took 7,500 pictures that night, and we're only showing a couple of them. But Tony, there's at the view at the Shire at the Guards. If you've never been at the Shire, great place. That's our guy Scott having a very lovely candlelight dinner with Tony that night, and the igloos on top of the building. It was a beautiful night, beautiful, even a little chilly, but it was great. And there's Carrie playing the piano with Tony at the Shire at the Garden. And there's our buddy Dell and Genevieve. We got Sam Adams and 16 Lot there next to each other. And there's a small group of us still hanging around later in the evening. But that's where it all started right there. Look at that view at the Yard House there.
Jimmy, that last picture, Jamie, you need to go back 2 pictures. You look like you were feeling no pain at the start of that one.
Nah, it was a little later.
It looks like he's having a good time.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I can't begin to tell you. I think there's Tracy and Thomas, this great folks. They dressed in their baseball stuff, and they had an actual tour going on at the baseball stadium that day as well. So they came out and hung with us, and actually came back later in the evening and had a few drinks with us. But it was great to see everybody there, and did not expect it to be a long day and then go into the night, but it was a great time. Lisa, we love you guys. You and Mark are awesome. So thanks for hanging. Lisa and Mark didn't know what to think, so they showed up at the Yard House, and they absolutely said they were only going to be there for one drink, and they wound up staying with us the rest of the day. So it was a great time. It was a great time.
See what you do? You're a bad influence.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all good.
Bad influence.
Life is good, brother. Life is good. So let's talk about next week, guys. So next week, our Super Bowl 16 special, we have got, guys, Chris Collinsworth, Ken Anderson, Pat McAnally, Gary Burley, Reggie Williams, Dave Lapham, Anthony Munoz, and Pete Johnson on the show. So, James, can you kind of go through kind of what we're thinking about the format and kind of letting people know what to expect next week?
Yeah, obviously with the superstar format, we're going to let these guys, be the stars of the show. So we'll kind of fade to the side, but we'll do our welcome like we typically do. We'll do some interaction among the 6 of them, letting them talk about it, talk about the upcoming Super Bowl, and then we have a highlight to show of each player. Let them talk about, what they were thinking on that particular play. Let the other guys chime in on, what they saw. Maybe, hey, Kenny, you weren't supposed to run, or Chris, you weren't supposed to run that route, or Kenny saying, so-and-so was my target on it. So I think we'll see some cool behind the scenes feedback when we show those highlights, and certainly get what was going through their minds and what was one of the biggest games of their careers. And then if we have time, we're going to do a second round. And then certainly there'll be some time, as always, for you, the fans, to chime in and ask questions. So it should be a fun night, obviously, being aware of those guys' time. We'll try to keep it to that hour format. If they're having fun, we'll keep rolling along, but should be an exciting night with 6 Bengal greats reminiscing about their Super Bowl. What are we up to now?
8.
Oh, 8. Jimmy, you don't count. So is that 7?
It's 4. It's 8. We have 8.
8. So it'll be a fun night, getting them all involved and like I said, reminiscing about their Super Bowl highlights. So it should be a lot of fun.
I talked to Kenny Anderson about half an hour before he came on the show. So he's going to facilitate all 8 of them on a screen at one time. Our ugly mugs will not be on screen. It's just going to be those guys. Kenny's going to facilitate it. We'll play some videos, let them talk. It's going to be a lot of fun. So if you've ever heard this format live, like at an event, it is hysterical. Now, none of these guys have ever done this virtually before. So it might be a little sloppy the first couple minutes, but these guys will get it. Kenny's going to facilitate. Kenny will work through it here. So pretty excited about it, man. That's our season finale, guys. We'll talk about that at the end of the show as well. That's our season finale. It's going to be a great, great time. Bengal Legends, that 1981 season. If you're around there at that time, let's relive it. If you weren't, you got to know about one of the greatest seasons in Cincinnati football history, and you're going to hear from 8 of the best that ever played the game in Cincinnati Bengal uniform.
And if somebody talks too much, Jamie has the mute button.
Yes. There's concern about a few players now.
That's going to be fun. Looking forward to it. It's going to be what a way to end the first season of our show.
Yeah.
Yep. Great stuff.
It's going to be fun.
All right, let's get into the Anthony Munoz Foundation, our Super Bowl squares. Guys, I can't begin to tell you. So as we were talking about what can we do something special for this Super Bowl episode, Super Bowl 16 episode on February 2nd, as we were thinking it was going to take 2 weeks to sell these Super Bowl squares. Guys, I'm just going to tell you, in 4.5 days, you guys raised $2,000 for the Anthony Munoz Foundation. $2,000. We sold you guys bought 100 squares at $20 a pop, and I've gotten dozens and dozens of messages saying, "Hey, we're going to do another 100." No, we're going to stop at this 100. James is still doing some reconciliation on people that paid through PayPal and Venmo versus what their squares were. So we'll double check some of that, James, and we'll get an actual donation made here the next few days, and we'll post the receipt to show you that $2,000 was donated to the foundation. I talked to the foundation again. They're very, very excited about it. They were $2,000 they were not expecting at all. So we're very happy, and Bengal fans are awesome in supporting these charities. We're going to be almost $4,200 after this $2,000 is being raised just this year in charity.
And we're still in January.
Yeah, amazing. Just absolutely amazing.
James, I sent down 100 loonies today for you, brother.
Oh boy.
Damn loonies. So let's go ahead, since we already have the 100 squares locked up.
You want to talk about the prizes you have first?
Yeah. So we're waiting on 2 more. We've got some really big prizes, and we're waiting on 2 more. We wanted to hopefully have that for you tonight, but we do have 2 of them. So Papa, whichever you want there first, Jamie. So Hollis did this for us. He handmade this damn thing. It's about 12 to 15 inches high. It's a figure of Joe Mixon. He handmade it. There's only one of these, guys. There's only one. Joe Mixon action basically figure here. It's 12 to 15 inches high. It is absolutely beautiful. I got it upstairs in my office on my desk. I paid for this. It was it's an item that's over $200. This is a very big deal, guys. This is something. It's a one of a kind.
Yeah, look at the detail on that.
Yeah, you know what? The one thing I just noticed is the 50th anniversary logo on the jersey. Yep. That's pretty cool on that white color rush. Nice.
Yeah, so he's actually does these for the players. A lot of the players have bought their own figures, so these are one of a kind. So that is one of them. We're not sure exactly which quarter that's going to be, and then we have another one right now that will pop up for you, and it is an autographed Jonah Williams football here as well. And I would first of all like to thank Thomas Reedy for kind of putting us in touch with Dan Marks. Dan Marks is the one who kind of donated this. To Thomas, who provided to us. So that's two really cool things. We got some really cool things we're waiting on. I was hoping to have pictures of those today. So stay tuned. We'll post all 4 of those together. Guys, look, you went out of your way. I know most everybody on there just wants to donate and help out local charities. That's what we're doing. But we're going to make these prizes legit and big time. A Jonah Williams autograph football and that one-of-a-kind Joe Mixon. The details on that are just absolutely just unbelievable. It's really cool. So we've got 2 more coming. I will hope to have those posted here in the next couple of days for everybody.
Cool.
Okay, so we want to generate the numbers.
Yep. So tonight's tonight. Let's.
So the board is full. So I'm going to go up here and click generate numbers, and it's going to prompt me. So this will set numbers for rows and columns. Click it once. I can also send an email to all the users to let them know the number's been generated. You guys want to do that?
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. So let's be clear with people on this. Provide clarity to everybody. So I bought a couple squares for the kids, and Jamie bought a square or 2. I'm not sure. Yeah, I brought 5.
Each, right?
5. So this is total random stuff. This is the computer generated number. So we don't know what's going to happen here. So it's not the duck races anymore. This is just a number here. We'll see what happens.
Here we go. There's the board. That is the board.
I know that's probably really small for everybody that's seeing the screen right now. So what we'll do after the show, you can actually probably go to the link right now, if I'm not mistaken, Jamie,
Yep.
right? And you guys can see your number, so you can see where your blocks
They'll
are.
get an email as well. So when you registered your number, you put your email in, you're going to get an email saying that the number's been generated. There'll most likely be a link there to click, and then you can access it.
Yep. So I'm excited. Let me see where Cameron. Cameron is 7 and 3.
I'm looking at my numbers here too. 8 and 1.
Yeah, that's a loser.
3. 3. I'm looking for the 7. Where's the 7? I don't have any. I got 7 and 4. I got 7 and 4.
Who's got 7 and 7?
7 and 7 is
Steve.
Like Driscoll.
Steve.
Yep. All right, guys. So you can get on the link. You'll have an email, or you can get on and check that link out, and we'll post it later tonight or first thing tomorrow. But look, I just want to back up a little bit, guys. I cannot begin to tell you how shocked we were, how quickly all these squares went. I mean, that's $2,000 that you guys raised, and they sold out less than 4.5 days. You guys are amazing, man. And we get so many messages like, hey, I really don't care if I win the prize. It's just another good local charity I want to help. And it's always great helping out these charities, but almost $4,200 already in January for these local charities. So very good stuff. Good luck, as Steve and Jeff. Yeah, good luck to everybody. I wish everybody could win something there, but there's a lot of people. Craig Johnson. Good old positive Craig. 2 and 6. That's a winner. That is a winner.
Name on here, Beer Fest Craig. He's got 7 and 2.
Hey,
that could happen.
There you go.
No. Wait,
42-27.
All right. Hey, let's go. Is Tom Justin in the room right now?
Yeah, he is.
Okay, let's bring on Tom real quick before we bring on David Baker from the Hall of Fame.
There he is.
Tom, what's going on, buddy?
What we say, guys?
Hey,
man, did you get a square, Tom? I didn't see your name on there. Do you have a number?
I bought 2. Both put them in Jamie's name.
Awesome.
So last week, Tom wanted to talk about basic some of our current free agents on defense and kind of who do we want to sign, who we want to keep. And so Tom wants to kind of turn the focus this week and talk for the next few minutes about, let's talk about the offense. Tom, what do you think is going to happen here? So we've got some free agents on offense. We've got free agents out there that maybe could be good targets for us as well before the draft gets here. What are you thinking?
It's not like the defense where we don't re-sign some guys. We've got some substantial holes. You start in the wide receiver position. AJ Green, God love him. Right now he's a borderline Hall of Famer. Jeff Hobson's right last week. Another year or 2 with solid numbers, and he's probably in. He's a lifetime Bengal. He's a special Bengal. I know starting with Ken Anderson, he'll disagree with that. He might be the greatest wide receiver in the history of the franchise. But he's not coming back for $18 million. And as much as I love him, I don't want him back for $18 million. He may have lost a step. He had trouble getting separation this year. So I would say the only way AJ comes back is if he hits free agency and he gets out there and there are no takers. But there are going to be takers. In fact, there's a team up 71 North that I'm really afraid he's going to end up with. If Aaron Rodgers goes back to the Packers, he'd be maybe the missing piece there for them to get back to the Super Bowl. But I don't see AJ coming back. We're solid with T. Higgins. Tyler Boyd probably is, when he's healthy, the best slot receiver in the NFL. And they have Auden Tate and Alex Harrison with depth. They'll still need somebody early who can get over, get up top. I don't think they'll hit it in free agency, but certainly in the draft, if a special guy's there in round one, they'd probably be tempted to hit the trigger. Tight end, they're pretty sound. CJ should be back. I think Drew Sample made strides this year. He really seemed to make a connection with Joe Burrow, and I think that'll continue into next year. And they've got a little bit of depth. And, you take Drew Sample with your number 2 pick, you really shouldn't have to invest high in the draft in a tight end. So I don't see him going too hard in at the tight end position. Running back, they're not only good, but they're deep. I would say the only change coming there might be as if they let go of Gio, and everybody likes Gio. If they want the cap space.
Gio's getting paid. Gio's making some money, man.
He's making a lot of money, to be the number 2 back. And they've got some depth in behind him. They showed they've got some good guys behind him. So he might be, a little bit on the bubble just from a salary cap standpoint, but that's it. Quarterback, as long as he comes back healthy, we don't have to worry about the starting quarterback. It depends on your position on Brandon Allen. Is he the guy that carved up Houston, or is he the guy that had the lowest passer rating for a single game in Bengal history against Baltimore? So, do you want the veteran? Do you want to spend some money and get a veteran for Joe Burrow to talk to on the sidelines and to be there if Joe's not ready in September? Or, do you want to roll the dice with Brandon Allen? So I really can't think of another position group. I mean, can you guys where they might need some help?
Obviously, I'm not going to go there, brother. We all know what we need some help at, man. We need some help on the interior of that offensive line, possibly. But I really think if we have to upgrade. Now, Jeff Hobson caught some heat on the show last week, guys, from the Bengals. So Jeff Hobson, when we asked the question specifically about the offensive line, and we went through what our scenarios were, he went into like, Jimmy, really, it's more about the defense. He goes, but he kind of said it quickly, but he was very clear about we need to upgrade. He's talking about the scheme. The offensive line, the new offensive line coach, obviously being an upgrade. A new scheme's going to help. A healthy Joe Mixon's going to help. But you need to upgrade the offensive line. Jeff Hobson was very specific. Well, people didn't hear that last week, and he got lit up on social media this past week.
Jimmy, I'm gonna speak for all 4 of us in the post show last week. We all agreed that we're all very secure with the offensive line, and none of the 4 of us hit the panic button. Man, look at the 2 of them just not saying a thing. None of us were hitting the panic button. You know what? In the first round, there's a special guy named Sewell. Mel Kiper came out today and tagged him to the Bengals. And even he was a little, I understand this is a lot to put on the kid, but he said, I haven't seen a guy like this since a young Anthony Munoz. And
put him in that class. Oh, brother.
Yeah. And Jeff's right. I mean, there are some things to look at. 1, he didn't play this year, and he's very young. He needed the experience. 2, he came from Oregon, where they play that funky type of offensive scheme. 3, the Pac-10 doesn't offer much in the tune of defense to test him. And, 4, I mean, Oregon's such an offensive line factory, maybe he'll get Jake Fisher's old locker. I don't know.
Don't even say that.
Stop, Tom. Stop it.
But those are legitimate concerns if you're going to take him that high. But at the same token, there are those that say if the Jets don't take a quarterback, the Jets will happily take him at 2, and they'll have their bookend tackles for the next 10 years. So I completely – if Frank Pollock thinks he's worth it at 5, I think he'll be here. If he doesn't, not so far as trading down. I'll bring up another name from the past, and that's Marvin Lewis. And that, how about this? This team just needs talent everywhere. How about we take the best football player there? And if it's not Sewell, it's probably going to be a wide receiver. And I don't think Joe Burrow will cry about that either.
Yep.
Yeah, Chase.
Yeah. We had one question there, Jamie.
Yeah, Anthony popped up about, obviously there was some talk about Whitworth this week. They're saying that the Rams might not have him come back. Do you think, is there a chance he comes back to Cincinnati and finishes his career here? Repair the.
I don't think so.
No.
I mean,
I think, you know what? I will say this. I think he's going to the Hall of Fame one day. It would be a great ending. But if I'm Andrew Whitworth and we thought he was washed up 5 years ago, but, he was old 5 years ago. But I would think he's going to go hunting for a ring if the Rams don't want him back.
Yeah,
I don't know if we're on the verge of going to the Super Bowl. I think we're in the direction to go there. We've got the quarterback to take us there, and we need to get the pieces around him. But I think Whit'll, like AJ Green, if Whit's a free agent, go get a Super Bowl ring, Andrew.
Yeah, good thing. So the last thing I'll make a comment on this is that if anybody watched the AFC and NFC championship game this past week, speed, baby. We need some speed on that offense, man. As some of the guys they had running the jet sweeps and the little quick screen passes and just getting downfield north and south so quickly, man. We were hoping John Ross would be that guy. I don't see John Ross probably being here move forward, but we need speed on that offense, Tom. That's for sure. Well, guys, let's go ahead.
And they can get help on the offensive line in the first couple rounds.
Yep. So let's get into this, guys. Look, man, we had some great discussion last week with Jeff Hobson from the Bengals about the Hall of Fame snubs. 50-plus years, guys, we've have one player in the Hall of Fame, not counting Paul Brown. One player, Anthony Munoz. Behind me to my left, I don't have everything in the screen viewing area here, but we got players, deserving players, like not just a fan thinking they're deserving players, but we're going to go over some statistics here in a little bit. We've got Ken Riley, Ken Anderson, Corey Dillon, Willie Anderson, Isaac Curtis, Lamar Parrish, Max Montoya. They're all represented over here. You can't see them all, even Chad Johnson. All these guys are very deserving. So 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago on air, we called and left a message for the Hall of Fame. We're going to start out here in just a minute. So we did pre-record. So David Baker couldn't be here with us live tonight. So we pre-recorded an interview, and you guys sent us dozens and dozens of questions to ask. I'm just going to tell you, every single question was the same question. David Baker, class act, a great representative to the Bengals. I'm sorry, the NFL and the Hall of Fame. Wait till you see the interview. We're going to go and play this 25 to 26-minute clip, pre-recorded, and then we're going to come back on and have some discussion, show some statistics around two guys that should be in immediately, and go from there. So, Jamie, let's go ahead and play this clip. And as we're playing the clip, guys, go ahead and type in any comments, any questions. We'll still view them. We'll come back to these, but this is probably one of the more fun interviews we've ever had.
All right, here we go. Enjoy.
Thank you for calling the Pro Football Hall of Fame, where excellence is celebrated every day. Please leave your message after the tone, and we will return your call as soon as possible. Thanks.
This is Bengal Jim and friends in Cincinnati, Ohio. We would like to call and complain about, one, Willie Anderson not getting in the Hall of Fame, Ken Riley, Ken Anderson, Max Montoya, Corey Dillon, Ocho Cinco. The list goes on and on. Call me. We got to talk.
Wait, call back next Tuesday at 8 p.m.
Yeah, we'll call back next live. Tuesday, a live show, 8 o'clock next Tuesday night. You will be our first guest. We would like an explanation here in Cincinnati. We're not very happy. Call me back. Bye. Guys, very special guest this evening. Every week we got great guests. We have an in-state friend of ours from up north, from good old Canton, Ohio. We'd like to welcome the president, CEO of the Professional Football Hall of Fame, David Baker, to the show.
Great to be with you guys. Great to be with all the Bengals fans right now. I think it's been a great season, and the future is even brighter.
David, man, we love you, man. We everybody knows who you are. Once they saw your face pop on the screen, they knew exactly who you were. So how's it going up in the Hall of Fame up there, buddy?
Well, it's exciting. I'll tell you, it's been a tough year for everybody. And, the Hall of Fame had never been closed more than Christmas Day and Thanksgiving Day in its history. And now, all of a sudden, we were closed for 93 days. And it looked on many other occasions like we're going to have to close as well. We canceled enshrinement, which is our biggest event. And this one was going to be the biggest one ever with our centennial class of 20 Hall of Famers for 2020. But now our phrase is we're going to have twice the fun in 21, and we're getting ready for August when we think we can have the first full stadium for football maybe in 2 years in the country. And our other phrase is that it's going to be the greatest gathering in football ever. That's August the 5th through the 9th, so I hope all the Bengals fans from wherever they're located, in Cincinnati, in Indianapolis, or in Canada, I hope you'll come on down to Canton, Ohio, and get your tickets early, because frankly, it is going to be incredible. We, in addition to the 20 Hall of Famers we had for 2020 and the Centennial class, yesterday, or it's actually, let's say a week ago, we met with our 48 selectors virtually for the first time ever, and we selected the class of 2021. And I'm telling you that it is, I think, the best class ever. Now, when you combine that with the Centennial class, which was the best class ever, you can imagine what's going to happen August 5th through the 9th in Canton, Ohio, to kick off next NFL season.
Hey, David, we're filling up the Bengal bus, and we'll be up there, brother. We'll have a ton of people coming up to see you. So, hey, we want to play a clip here, David. So, after it's about a 60-second clip. We're going to play a clip here and just ask you a couple of questions after this. This is a very emotional video clip here we want to play and get your feedback on it.
Sure.
Surprise guest, especially when it's this man coming in right now from the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Good to see you, Kurt. How are you? Good to see you. How are you doing? Good. Hall of Famer. Good to see you. Hall of Famer. Hall of Famer. Hall of Famer. Coach, on behalf of the Pro Football Hall of Fame and all those fans that are watching and all of us who love this game, thank you, Coach, for all you've done for the game. Thank you for all you're going to do for the game. Thank you for the history that you've made and the lives that you've impacted. Thank you. It's my great honor to tell you that you're going to be the 328th Hall of Famer into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And your legacy is going to be in Canton, Ohio forever. Congratulations, sir. Congratulations. Oh my God. Awesome.
Wow, very, very emotional there. Everybody involved, and I remember watching that live, David, last year. What a cool experience. Now you've had the opportunity to do a lot. Let's talk about that particular experience first, if you don't mind.
Well, I had the opportunity to talk to Jimmy Johnson earlier this week, and I think we had the anniversary of that just this last week. And you could see that he started to, he couldn't breathe. He stopped breathing, and Howie and Terry were getting ready to, grab him in case he fell. They cut away to Troy Aikman, who was cheering up 2,500 miles away in Green Bay. But I think, the day before we had been in New York because we had selected with this Blue Ribbon Committee the Centennial class, and that was done on Tuesday. And when we opened up the envelope that night, we pretty quickly recognized that, hey, we had one coach that was going in who was going to be on CBS doing that championship game on Saturday in New York. And if we got the flights right, we could still get to LA for the other one, which was doing the other championship game. Now, Bill Cower at CBS and Sean McManus, who is the president of CBS, he said that was one of the greatest moments in CBS sports history. And the guys at Fox felt the same way because, again, it wasn't just Jimmy who was crying. It was all the other guys that were crying. Troy's crying. Everybody else on the crew is crying.
David, I teared up watching that just now.
Jimmy still tears up over it. But Bill Cower, who is that guy who loves having that, that incredibly chiseled jaw out there and is stoic and doesn't share a whole lot of emotion. We were fortunate enough to get his wife and daughter over just a few moments before the show. We couldn't let them know too early. And they came over and they walked out after I made the announcement. And I'll tell you, Bill Cowher blubbered. He just blubbered. And Jimmy did too. And I'll tell you how all this got started, if it's all right. The first year I did this, we were going to walk them out on the honor show on the stage. And, we ran late, and so we had to call guys. And my first call was to Michael Strahan because we had to get him across town to Radio City Music Hall. My second one was to Derek Brooks because Derek was actually a friend from Arena Football, and I just wanted to give my buddy the good news. The third one was punter Ray Guy from the Oakland Raiders. And Ray had been eligible for 29 years and had been a finalist, I think something like 17 times, and never been selected. And when I said, he almost didn't answer my phone because I'm area code 714 from Orange County instead of 330 for Kid. And he did, and he's got that Southern Mississippi accent. And I said, Ray, this is Dave Baker, president of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And he said, yes, sir. And I said, Ray, it's my great pleasure. And with that, boom, I could hear him hit the floor and the phone rattling around. And I could hear his wife going, baby, honey, are you okay? And it's like 2 minutes. And I'm thinking I killed my first Hall of Famer. And she said, baby, are you all right? And finally he gets up and he picks up the phone and he says, hey, I'm sorry. I'm not sure I truly understood until now how much this meant to me. And frankly, from that moment on, we knew that was an experience that not only that we had to help those guys with, but it was an experience that we had to help fans see. So it's not really about Dave Baker. I want to assure you, it's never about that. All I do is what any carrier pigeon could do. But it happens to be pretty good news. And what I tell them is, I tell them, thank you for all you've done for the game. And I say, welcome to Canton, Ohio, because that's where every player wants to end their career. And then I tell them at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, we're going to guard their legacy forever. And this is a year where, every year I lose one or two Hall of Famers. Since our last enshrinement 18 months ago, we've lost 14. And I know that for all those guys and for their families, I've talked to a lot of widows this last year. And that the fact that we're going to guard their legacy and they're never going to be forgotten, either as the football player or coach or contributor they are, but also for the man that they are. I know that gives them a lot of comfort. So they're really special, and in almost all of them, they cry.
Yeah.
How do you make a grown man cry? You tell him he's going to Canton, Ohio.
Yeah. Well, speaking of going to Canton, Ohio, for football fans who've never been there, what's the best time of year to go and visit the Football Hall of Fame?
Well, I think any time's a great time to go. We call it the most inspiring place on earth because it is, when I came from, Newport Beach, Irvine, California, to Canton, Ohio, I will tell you, I thought I did, but I truly did not know how cold it is here, okay? But the second thing I didn't know was how much it means to people. This is a bucket list item. And pretty much every week, sometimes every day for a while, at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, we have fans that are terminally ill, and they just want to go through the hall before they die. And they want to relive their memories. They want to, most of us watch the game, not from the stadium, but, kind of from our home with our family. So for them, it's all about family. And they've seen miracles happen where Roger Staubach throws a Hail Mary to Drew Pearson. They know that there's hope. And so for me, it's been dramatic to see how much it means to people. But I think any time's a good time. There is no doubt in my mind that the best time is enshrinement time. The first weekend of every August, we kick off in Canton, Ohio, every NFL season. And to me, it's the greatest 4 days in football. This next one is going to be, like I said earlier, I think it's going to be the greatest gathering in football ever. We'll probably have 160 Hall of Famers there. We've got an intimate, really an NFL stadium, but it's only for 20,000 people. We've got a parade that is the 5th biggest parade in the United States in this little town. We've got the gold jacket dinner. And certainly we have the enshrinement too, where guys who are really media trained. I mean, even the offensive linemen, defensive linemen, they're media trained, but they're not used to giving speeches that reflect the entirety of their life. And it's incredible the lessons we can learn from that. If I could, gentlemen, our mission at the Pro Football Hall of Fame is to honor the great heroes of the game, to preserve its history, and we are serious about preserving that history, to promote its values, and to celebrate excellence everywhere. But it's not really about the worship of the football hero, or even the worship of the game of football. If you take a guy like Anthony Munoz, who's a great Hall of Famer, for them, I'll tell you, Anthony had to make it through his life. It wasn't clean. It wasn't easy. And we all think these guys fell out of bed great. And I'll tell you, I know a little bit about how hard Anthony had to work. His senior year of college, he played in one game, which was the Rose Bowl, to end up and come out being, I think, the second or third pick by the Bengals overall. But he had to work, and there's setbacks, and there's pain, and there's agony, but they strove for greatness. And to hear what they're talking about, it's really about the values that the commitment that they had to their team, the love that they had for their teammates, the perseverance they had over adversity. Well, if we look at those things, then maybe I can learn how to be a better executive, or you guys can learn how to be better broadcasters, or we can all learn how to be a better community or a better country together. So I think it's a magical moment. This next year we will enshrine the Centennial class on Saturday and the 2021 class on Sundays, hence twice the fun for 21. And then we'll close it out with a concert for legends on Monday.
Yeah, David, I tell you what, just to kind of reiterate, so I've been up there. I'm part of the Pro Football Ultimate Fans Association. We march in that parade every year. And I'm just, all the viewers right now that are watching, I'm telling you, make a weekend trip of it. Get up there. It's an amazing, amazing time. Everybody you meet, the parade, the events around it, and the Hall of Fame itself is just icing on the cake.
Yeah, Jim, let me tell you, what you and the PUFA guys do, the Professional Ultimate Fans Association, you're having fun, you're honoring the game, you're a big part of it. What you guys do when we have the first play with a couple thousand kids that throw out the first pass, literally, all the way to, is very special. But when you guys know, people don't know that you're going to see children's hospitals and other groups and doing great good. So what I love about the game is football is family. And our extended family, it's always tough when you get the Bengals family versus the Browns family. But I'll tell you, like any family, I've got two boys, and sometimes they compete with each other. But I'll tell you, if somebody attacks the other one, man, that other one is there. And one of the things I'm proud of, if I could share for you guys, we all love the entertainment. We all love our heroes. We all love being fans. But frankly, I'm real proud to be associated with the NFL right now. It gets attacked. It's a part of controversy all the time. But I'll tell you, it announced its schedule on time. It did the draft on time. It started the regular season on time. And a lot of credit goes to the commissioner and the players union and the owners, coaches, referees, the media, because I think it was at a time when America needed it most. I don't think the Big Ten would have played if the NFL didn't play. And I think it was a great, if you could make all that stuff happen. And again, Ohio State, who we love here in Ohio, but they canceled 3 games themselves, one team. And most colleges did. The NFL played 256 games and never canceled the game. Okay? They took care of everybody's health. Now they had to postpone some. We had some incredible games where, Denver didn't have a quarterback at one point, and Detroit didn't have any coaches. But, the other thing that you got to say is nobody made any excuses. Nobody said, we can't do this. We're going to forfeit. It was always next man up. And I think if the NFL can do that, it is a wonderful leadership lesson for the rest of us in America about how we can come together, how we can get our economy going again, how we can educate our kids, how we can make healthcare advances. And that's what I love as part of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. We're the guardians of the game's history. And history was made this year with every decision that was made, every action that was taken, every time they persevered. And it wasn't just football history, it was American history. So I'm looking forward. There's a lot to celebrate in this year's Super Bowl. And when PUFA is there next year, there's going to be a lot of hugging going on.
That's right. Well, David, I know we have 10 more minutes. We want to respect your time. And I mean, everything you're saying is very powerful stuff. And I want to provide some clarity to everybody viewing right now. I know there's a lot of people in Cincinnati and across the world that are Bengal fans that are just upset about some of our players not being in the Hall of Fame. So I want to be very clear to everybody watching right now. David Baker is not a decision maker on who goes into the Hall of Fame. Okay. But David, I would be remiss, man. The Cincinnati Bengals organization, founder Paul Brown, the organization's been around over 50 years. Anthony Munoz, the great Anthony Munoz, best offensive lineman to ever play the game, is in the Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. There's been a few other that have been close, but when you talked about being guardian the legacies of these guys, and there's Hall of Famers that should be in there from Cincinnati, in our opinion. Willie Anderson, Isaac Curtis, Max Montoya, Corey Dillon, Chad Johnson, Lamar Parrish. But in your opinion, David Baker, and I just need your take on this, and we're not pushing in any way, shape, or form, there are two guys that I think it's a travesty that are not in that Hall of Fame.
Ken Riley and Ken Anderson. Yeah, sure.
You got it, brother. So what is it going to take, in your opinion, to get these deserving guys in there? One player in 50-plus years in Cincinnati, David, it's not your fault, but I mean, there's some serious frustration about this, man. What's your take? How do we get these two in first, and then we could go from there? We got to figure this out.
Let me tell you, as you correctly stated, I do run the process. I run the meetings, but I don't have a vote. We have 48 elite selectors. They are guys like Jared Bell from USA Today, or Sal Palantonio, or Peter King from Sports Illustrated. We also have 4 Hall of Famers who are in the media: Dan Fouts, James Lofton, Bill Polian, and Coach Dungy, that are on the selectors as well. And these guys work all year round, and they get information all year long. Now, what we do in the case of once you get out, you have 5 years where it's a waiting period. They kind of let your career settle and kind of give it some perspective. And then after 5 years, you're eligible for 20 years after you retire. And then after that, you go into a senior pool. And the senior pool was to be created really for the guys who aren't the modern era finalists, but they kind of fall between the cracks. And I think Ken Riley and Ken Anderson are now in that senior pool, of the guys that have fallen between the cracks. Now, that is a huge pool of players. And we just again, and this is something I had to do with the process, but for the centennial class of 2020, the 100th year anniversary of the NFL, we did pick 10 seniors, which was unprecedented. Now going forward for the next 4 years, in addition to the 5 modern era players, we pick 1 senior, 1 coach, and 1 contributor each year. And that's tough company, but when the enshrinement is over, first weekend of August, generally about the last week of August, we bring together the seniors committee, which is that group that Ken and Ken are in. We also bring together the contributors committee and the coaches committee. And they spend all day long whittling it down, talking, voting, debating, sometimes very strenuously, I'll tell you. And they'll end up with 1 person that they recommend to the selectors. Now, this last year for 2021, Drew Pearson was the senior that was recommended by the senior committee. Bill Nunn was the contributor that was recommended by the contributors committee, and Tom Flores was the first one ever recommended by the coaches committee, which is new. But what I would tell you, certainly if you send us any information, we're glad to get it to the selectors. They get a ton of information from us and from fans. But I will also tell you one other thing, if I could, Jim, and this is nothing against Ken Riley or Ken Anderson. There have been 330 million young men and now women that have played this game. There's only 5 million that have ever played it in college. there's only 29,000 who've ever been paid to play it, coach it, or officiate it in the National Football League. And as of today, there's only 326 who have a bronze bust in Canton, Ohio, and only 169 that have a gold jacket.
Yeah, that's powerful stuff, David. I guess from our perspective, as we look at it, when you have Ken Riley, this isn't you, obviously, I'm voting on this, but to have Ken Riley at 65 interceptions, everybody ahead of him and after him pretty much is in the Hall of Fame. The stats that some of these guys are throwing up, it is 50 plus years. It just seems like they're again, the process probably isn't perfect, obviously, but good players on great teams that win Super Bowls are in there. There are great players that have been on average teams that didn't win a Super Bowl that are not in there. And it's just tough, man. If one player in 50 plus years, David, it just hurts, man. And someday with Ken Riley and Ken Anderson get into the Hall of Fame, we talked about, I was tearing up when you were doing that thing with Jimmy Johnson. I'm telling you, there's going to be so many tears down here in Ohio. The Ohio River is going to be flooding, brother, because we're looking forward to that day that happened.
Well, and listen, they are very deserving. And people don't understand that, when I get to knock on the door, that's one of the greatest jobs any fan could ever have. But I also got to call the guys who aren't selected. And that's a very tough job. And these guys are very, very deserving. But I will tell you, it's very hard to make it in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And frankly, it should be hard. But this isn't a consolation prize, but because of that, one of the things we did, when you come again to Canton, and I hope you'll come for the enshrinement. I know you will, Jim, for as a member of the PUFA guys. But at Centennial Plaza, which is a 1 acre park downtown, we raised $12 million to build a monument to the NFL's first 100 years. And in that park is listed the names of every player to ever play in the first century of the NFL. So Ken Riley and Ken Anderson's names are there. My son played for 8 years with the Atlanta Falcons, and I got to tell you, it was an emotional moment for me to see his name there, because I remember when he was an eighth grader dreaming about playing in high school football, and I remember his journey. I remember when he was drafted in the first round by the Falcons. But what's incredible, again, these guys have made great journeys. And I think, again, I know that Ken Riley and Ken Anderson, they're in consideration every year as one of the seniors. But the only thing I can tell you is that it doesn't make them any less of a contributor to the National Football League. It doesn't make them any less of the men of character that I know both of them to be. But I will tell you, it's hard to make it.
Yep, I'm with you, buddy. So what would be the process, David? Just, not the voting process, but if fans can contribute and help in any way to get information and data, what would be the process for the fan to get involved to help that process in any way, shape, or form?
Yeah, send it to me or my vice president of selections at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Salim Chowdhury. It could be a letter of support. It could be a petition. It could be, information and data analysis that the selectors might want to review. But I think that there's, some, let me tell you, they pour over a lot of data. Peter King once told me that he does 120 interviews a year that are only to determine who he's going to vote for on that, what we call Selection Saturday. But in fact, for us, because of COVID, was 1 week ago. And that meeting itself was over 9 hours long.
Yeah. Well, hey, look, David, it means a lot. We're right at our time. And I just want to, first of all, David, it is awesome because I've met you a few times. I know you probably don't, you met so many people, but for people to get to see you and hear you talk, you're a great representative of the NFL and the Pro Football Hall of Fame, buddy. And we love you. Thanks so much for coming on. It means a lot. And I look forward to the day when you're guarding the legacies of more Cincinnati Bengals in that Hall of Fame up there, David. We appreciate your time, buddy.
Well, listen, I think there's some great days ahead for the Bengals. Being in Ohio, I've become a bit of a Bengal and a Browns fan here. and I think the best times are ahead. But I look forward to seeing you at the Hall, especially for enshrinement. and thank you guys for all that you do for the game.
David, you're the man. Thanks for taking time with us. It means a lot, buddy.
Thanks, guys. God bless.
Good day, man. We'll see you.
Look, David Baker was outstanding, guys. A great guy. Remember, he doesn't vote. But what's interesting, what I didn't realize, he runs the process. He's in the room during those votes and those discussions. And he obviously didn't have an answer, guys, for us. He was very politically answering the questions about Ken Riley. He knew it was coming. There was no answer that he gave us at the end of the day, guys. So it's a little frustrating, but I don't want to hold that against Dave. But the process is obviously flawed. When you got two guys, now we're going to talk about, there's a bunch of players that should be in the Hall of Fame for the Bengals, but when you got Kenny Anderson and Ken Riley not in the Hall of Fame, total injustice. And I want to pop up a couple things here real quick. And we've got a little campaign we're going to talk about here with you guys and get some support and get some momentum rolling on this. But pop up the graphic for Ken Riley for me, Jamie, if you could. So just to let everybody know, this is the list of the top 10 interceptions in NFL history. The only three guys that are not on or in the Hall of Fame are David Brown and Darren Shaper. And obviously our guy, Ken Riley. On this list, the only player that has more interceptions with one team than Ken Riley is Emery Tunnell. He had 74 with the last team he played with, obviously. But, I mean, Ken Riley, you got to be kidding me. There's most everybody behind him, everybody in front of him is in the Hall of Fame. Nobody has more interceptions with the same team. I mean, he had every one of his interceptions with the Cincinnati Bengals. One of the biggest no-brainers, one of the biggest misses in history. And after talking to Ken Riley II, they really thought this last time around with a 10 going in that he was going to be one of them. And they really thought that was going to happen, and it didn't. So Ken Riley. The other one here I want to pop up here is for a statistic for Ken Anderson. This is it's more of an eye chart than anything, but kind of give you an idea. There's 17 quarterbacks on this list, everybody. 17. 16 of the 17 are in the Hall of Fame. So in a nutshell, this statistics here are just saying all these stats are direct comparisons to other quarterbacks in their generation. Any number you see over 100 means they're better than the average quarterback in their generation. And the composite rate is the final number that you see there. 17 quarterbacks, 16 of these quarterbacks are in the Hall of Fame. And of course, number 8 on that list is Ken Anderson, not on the list. And these statistics, Joe Goodberry kind of dialed these things up, and he took these from Pro Football Reference, some of these numbers. But guys, I'm going to tell you, we've done petitions online. We've done these things. So when I asked David Baker specifically the question, what can we do as fans to help this out? Because it isn't just us being Bengal fans wanting these guys in there. They legitimately should be in the Hall of Fame. And when he told us on air in that interview to email him, well, obviously I can't get his email. Nobody will give us his email, but I do have it as an assistant's email. But we're going to start some information here. So we're going to send statistics on a weekly basis to them about Ken Anderson and Ken Riley. There's other players, obviously, like Willie Anderson needs to be in there, Lamar Parrish, Isaac Curtis during his era. I mean, there's a lot of other players, but there's 2 right now that have to get in there and have to get in sooner than any of these other guys. And we're going to dedicate a social media page to this as well. So we'll get more information out about that here, hopefully very soon. And guys, right now we don't have the specifics on this, but I'm going to be up there with the Pro Football Ultimate Fans Association, the PUFA that he was talking about. I'll be up there in August. But we're going to plan a road trip, guys, before August. And we're going to go up there. We're going to make our signs and banners, and we're going to have an organized little protest outside the Hall of Fame and pushing our guys up there, and obviously put our signs back in our cars, and then we're going to go and take a tour of the Hall of Fame. So all this is to come, guys, but there's something we have to do, and I just feel that I don't, as a fan, my whole life, I just can't sit back and watch this anymore. This is just getting to the point where when Ken Riley passed away, that was kind of what did me in. I'm just like, this is ridiculous, because at some point when Ken Riley gets in there, his family is going to be very happy and sad at the same time that Ken can't be there to for that moment. But guys, I'm blabbing way too much, man. So type in any responses to this in the chat area, and Tom, James, and Jamie, I'd like to get your feedback on this as well.
Well, a lot of people in the chat obviously are agreeing. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It's disrespectful. It doesn't make any sense. One of the comments I saw was "Stats don't lie." This is the most shocking piece right here. Like, you literally have a list of 17 quarterbacks. We're right in the middle of that with Ken Anderson, and everyone's in the Hall of Fame but us. It's inexcusable. It doesn't make any sense. There's obviously a bias, and I'm not just saying that as a disgruntled Bengals fan. Anybody you could get. I mean, Aaron could come downstairs and look at this, and it not make any sense of it.
Right.
So.
Now the Hall of Fame discussion, I was listening to Sports Talk today, and Chris Russo, Mad Dog, was talking about it for baseball. It's a heated discussion, but as Jamie said, you throw those stats up, they don't lie, and that especially that the Kenny Anderson one, and then you look at what Ken Riley did. I think as fans, we probably need to make a conscious effort to concentrate on those two first. For letters, videos, just kind of think outside the box when you're thinking of ideas to send to the staff at the Hall of Fame. We talked with when we had Jeff Hobson on last week. Obviously, each team has a representative. David Baker mentioned the 4 at large with Bill Polian and the players, and then there's the media like Peter King and things like that. I think there's a way to do it. I think obviously be respectful, but we need to blow the horns for these two gentlemen first and foremost to get them in, and then we'll worry, and then steer the cheers for the other guys. But definitely needs to be more, and people like us need to lead the bandwagon for these two gentlemen to get in first and foremost. Tom?
And Tom, real quick, I'm deadly serious about getting up to Canton and kind of making and get some media involved and getting some videos and us doing a little fun little get together, but making our case for our guys. So that's going to happen. So just stay tuned for dates around that.
It does make a difference on social media to make your case. There were a couple guys that I talked to that followed this very closely, and they said Willie Anderson this past year, just the traffic that had picked up on him on social media really helped. And I liked what one guy said. He told me Willie Anderson is going to be the first player put into the Hall of Fame because of Pro Football Focus. And they said because Pro Football Focus has stats for linemen, and he went 3 years. Forget about allowing a sack. He went 3 consecutive years when the Bengals were horrible in the late 90s and early 2000s. He didn't allow a pressure. And while he didn't allow a pressure on his quarterback, he was also plowing the way for Corey Dillon to go to the Pro Bowl every year. He's a lock from the modern day candidates. And the fact that Ken Riley and Ken Anderson aren't in, and I'm not being mean to these gentlemen who love the game, but they embarrass themselves every year that they haven't put them in. And congratulations to the other guys that have gotten in. Good for Drew Pearson. He's no better than Isaac Curtis. But that being said,
exactly,
they embarrass themselves by not putting both Kens in.
Yep. We're with you guys. Let's go ahead and, I know we're kind of a little over time here, guys, but go ahead and any closing comments here before we close this out.
I was just going to say, I mean, obviously support the campaign efforts, and I'm excited to see what you guys come up with to do it, and I'll support as much as I can. I mean, from up here.
Canadian votes are worth half an American vote.
All right. But it's sad that we even have to. Like, it's sad that we even have to create a campaign. Like, if you're looking at the player as a whole, achievements as a whole, stats is going to be a major component of that. And Anthony asked about this, and I'll put you on the spot here, Jimmy, because maybe you don't know, but that list, did all the other 16 quarterbacks win a Super Bowl?
Oh, I don't. Looking at them,
Warren
Marino
Moon never did. Warren Moon didn't, right?
Never did. Jim Kelly never did.
Jim Kelly.
So I mean that's the throwaway line, right? Well,
Yeah,
that's why they're not in.
Washington and Dan Fouts never did. They're right above Kenny.
Right.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, I think one of the comments that I heard Jeff say that I repeated to David in the interview was, you have good players. Drew Pearson was a good player. You have good players that played on Super Bowl teams that are in the Hall of Fame. You have players way better than that. You have great players who didn't play on a Super Bowl team that are not in the Super Bowl. That is not what the Pro Football Hall of Fame is about. That is what's the most frustrating thing.
Yep. I would agree. I look forward, especially in the off season before the draft, get creative. Let's see some different video, montages, like we said, stay tuned to the social media page. And, as Bengals fans, let's make a conscious effort to get these two gentlemen in. If you're not familiar, I'd invite you to go back a couple shows. We had Ken Riley II on talking about his dad, a great interview. Obviously, we've had Kenny Anderson on a bunch, but two great gentlemen, two great representatives for the Bengals and the National Football League that need their bust in Canton. Tom,
I know you got to go, right?
I'm going to go.
Yep, I'm going to be heading out in just a second, but no, he was a great guest and very informative, but, we can help this process. For the two veteran candidates and the modern candidate that comes up every year. The two veteran candidates, unfortunately, right now, they're only doing one every other year, but we got to start now, and we have to be persistent, 52 weeks a year.
It's solved, guys. I'm going streaking.
And with that, I'll see you guys next week for the week show.
We'll see you guys. We'll see you. All right, guys. Well, let's go and close this out. It's about quarter after.
And Tom, but
just ran Tom right off. See what you did, James.
Well, let me go ahead and close it out, guys. Just want to, first of all, thanks everybody. Again, I thought David Baker was outstanding. I'm not getting on David Baker. We asked a question that he doesn't have an answer for, guys. He was very gracious after our phone call a few weeks ago to come on, and he's great, outstanding to talk to. He's a very fun interview. So let's just remind everybody, the Super Bowl squares are done. Your numbers are out there. As we were doing that interview, I checked. I got my email already, like Jamie said. So we've got our Super Bowl squares. Good luck to everybody. We have 2 more prizes that we'll be posting here over the next few days. But yeah, there's some good stuff there. And reminder, I'm going to ask for some help from everybody for next week. So next week is our Super Bowl 16 special. We talked about Chris Collinsworth, Ken Anderson, Pete Johnson, Reggie Williams, Pat McAnally, Anthony Munoz, Gary Burley, and Dave Lapham. All had advised they will be with us next week. It's going to be a blast. Our biggest viewed, it's our season finale before we take a little bit of a break, and we'll talk about that here next week. Our biggest viewed episode, if we go back and look at all 3 of our social media platforms that we're doing, we've had over 4,000 views of over half an hour on the James Brooks interview. That James Brooks evening was over 4,000. That was probably our biggest view. And I would love if you could share when we're going to post this stuff a little earlier for everybody. If you could share this, get friends and family to watch this. We would like to blow that out of the water with our season finale, our Super Bowl 16 special season finale. Ask to share, get a lot of good interaction on it. Your questions will be popped up to those guys as they're on the screen as well. So we're really looking forward to next week, guys. But we appreciate everything. We appreciate everything everybody's doing. Who Day. We'll have some more Hall of Fame discussions, but until then, we will see you guys next Tuesday. Who Day.
Cheers.
Stay safe, everyone.